Bobby, maybe start off just talking about what are some of the things you really like about this group that you put together this year.
Good. I think it's a good mixture of experienced guys. I think we're pretty skilled. I think our shooting should be vastly improved over last year. Our overall our ability to put the ball in the basket and I think being more competitive around the basket with with Jaden Quinence and Sean Phillips and Bashir Jihad. Those three guys have really been standouts in a lot of different areas. Really the last few weeks, but more specifically, this week.
Talk about Jaden and Josan. I mean, two five-star recruits, two of the most heralded recruits we've seen here in years.
Jaden Quinence's ceiling is scary. You look at him and you think of, I don't know, just say a physical, rugged type of player that's just going to play with his back to the basket, but he's more like a point guard than he is a center. Like he's 6'9", he's got really good footwork, he could dribble the ball, he gets low, he could pass the ball, like he's one of our best passers for a big guy, so he just does a lot of things. He's very advanced for someone that just turned 17 in July, and we have high hopes for him, but the reality is he's 17 and he's still learning the game, and he'll keep getting better as this years go on, but it's scary, what he can be as he keeps developing as a player. And Josan his adjustment has been very smooth. He could really make shots, and he could do it in a variety of different ways. So, I think we have a lot of firepower. We have some guys that really could put the ball in the basket, and Josan is near the top of the list of that group.
Was Adam as vocal last year during practice than what we saw today?
Yeah, he's tried to take more of a leadership role, and he's played a lot of basketball. So, and being a returning player, I think he feels very comfortable in this environment to want to do more of that. So, that's been a real positive because you get some new guys, you get some young guys, and that's maybe not the strength is communication and being vocal. And so just the more that we could get him to do that and others, the better off we'll be.
What have you thought about the offensive skill of the group and shot making in particular?
It just gives you a lot of options and a lot of different ways that you could go. It's I don't think we'll be one-dimensional. When you guys were in there, I think we took a lot of three-point shots, but I don't think that is necessarily going to be the only path that we have. We're going to, we got guys that could hit the paint. We have the ability to throw it inside, and then we got a number of players that could score and could shoot the basketball. So feel good about the offense. We just gotta we gotta work on our half-court offense. When you bring so many new players in, it's just we're not even close to where we need to be in a few weeks when we're getting ready to play.
What have you seen from team chemistry standpoint?
It's really solid, the chemistry. Like the guys I think are playing together for the most part, playing the right way. We're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes, but I don't think they're on the selfish side. I think they're competing for each other. In some of my better teams, and I would put that one in this category right now. We haven't really done anything yet, but they compete every day, and there aren't lopsided scores and segments, and competing means something to the majority of the guys in the gym right now.
With Adam's leadership, how much is that on him for taking the initiative, and how much is it you guys as a coaching staff trying to pull it out of him?
Well, again, he's comfortable in this environment, and he's older, and he's naturally a guy that's talking amongst his teammates off the court, so it should naturally translate to the basketball floor. But yeah, I mean we don't designate someone and say hey, you have to be the guy that talks. We encourage all our guys to have positive communication. There were some examples today of negative communication. We didn't really talk well with each other for a stretch, so got to keep cleaning those areas up as well.
Was that during the free throws, Coach, at the end there when you had a little break? Or was
No, that's why it's so early that we're still teaching and talking about it. And my teams in the past, as we would shoot free throws, there would be a level of concentration on those free throws as you're shooting them. But then when you're not shooting your free throw, we encourage guys to want to talk to other players in the gym so you're just not in your own world. And it just added a little more life to the free throw shooting at the end, and it wasn't like a church in there. It's a gym, so we want it to be full of enthusiasm and guys talking and communicating.
Coach, similar to that earlier question, of course, there's been a lot of turnover this year. How have you seen those new boys really adapt to your philosophy so far?
Well, we sat in the rooms for 6 weeks and put together the team. We watched a lot of film. We tried to put together pieces that make sense when you're putting a roster together. And I walk out of here with feeling very good most days, just knowing the upside of the potential of the group. And it's just, again, a matter of them adapting to a new way of doing things. Like BJ, I ran a play late in practice, and he said that was the play they ran at Milwaukee. I wasn't aware of that, but so it's that type of dialogue that's good. But yeah, I mean, in a couple of weeks, I think it'll look a lot different as we keep getting more repetitions and kind of fine tuning some things.
What do you think about the non-conference schedule and then the gauntlet that is the Big 12?
I like the non-conference schedule. A lot of neutral site games in front of us. Certainly, the game versus Duke is an exciting opportunity to right away compete against one of the best teams in the country early and get tested and see where you are and get back to work and get prepared for the season. But overall, just really good mid-majors. Santa Clara, GCU, UMass, like in their backyard. I like our neutrals, obviously, with Florida and the opportunity to play New Mexico, another really good mid-major, and USC or St. Mary's. So I think there's a lot of good non-conference games where we tried to extend ourselves. The Gonzaga game, I mean, that's a big one. I shouldn't really forget that. And the Big 12 is the Big 12. It's loaded as usual, what you would expect. It's we're gonna have our hands full. Love. Our conference slate here at home is strong with, potentially 4 top 15 teams: Iowa State, Arizona, Baylor, Houston. So there's some heavy hitters coming here. Exciting games for our fan base, and it's recognized as one of the best leagues, maybe the best league in college basketball. You want to play against the best and challenge yourself. So here we are.
You didn't really have to get that aggressive with your non-conference with as strong as your conference schedule is. Is it just, hey, let's keep playing the tough teams?
I don't want to find out. I want to know what I got, and that's just always how I've done it. I don't duck anybody really. If we'll play mostly anybody really. Pick up the phone and call us. We'll play, and that's been our mindset. And want to see what our weakness is. Maybe you get exposed in one of those games, 2 of them, and then you figure some things out. But it's a learning process in the non-conference, and you want to. I don't care how many quality wins there are in the Big 12. You want to try and hold up your end of the bargain and try and win some games in the non-conference to make that league even stronger.
What sort of extra due diligence did you and your staff do as you're entering this new conference and getting more familiar with some of these teams?
Just talking to people about the nature of the league. I know that very, very passionate fan bases. You're going to see these games are going to be loud environments. So playing on the road is going to be rough. It's a very physical league. Speaking with some refs that crossed both Pac-12 and Big 12, it's it's viewed as more physical than our league was last year. So just not calling a lot of fouls right now, trying to create more of that environment so that we're prepared for physicality and but otherwise, I mean, you have some top tier programs there. It's just blue bloods and teams that have had a ton of success in the NCAA tournament.
You talked about the change on offensively with all the turnover in the roster. What about on the defensive side of the ball? Do you kind of perceive that as being a bit different than last year, or is it kind of some of the same fundamentals just reinforced?
Yeah, I think guys are giving great energy at that end. Like any team right now, we're having bad closeouts, or sometimes we're not communicating well in transition defense. We're not getting all our blockout assignments. So there's a lot of things that go into trying to get you prepared to play good defense. And so we're trying to work through that, reinforcing that through film study and showing the breakdowns and trying to get better. And but there's a commitment to wanting to play. I see guys that are competing and trying at that end of the floor, and I don't think we'll be like we were last year. Our turnover differential was really good. We were forced to try and trap a lot and create turnovers that that was maybe a strength of ours based on our personnel, but I don't necessarily think that'll be the way we'll play defensively this year. I think we'll try and be more solid defensively and just stay more disciplined and sit down and get stops and, try and get the ball in our hands a lot. I mean, if we possess the basketball, I like our chances of scoring it, and that's like the most basic way is because we have a number of guys that I feel confident about that can put the ball in the basket.
With the roster turnover, do you think there's naturally going to be some experimentation with the lineups, or have you seen a group of players out there that you've liked early?
Good question. I mean, we're going to be changing things up quite a bit. You want to try and find those guys that seem to connect well together. This week, Sean and JQ have played together, and I like that combination. I'm not sure it was great today, but it has been really good. JQ's passing ability is high-low, kicks to Sean, and Sean, when he gets that close to the basket, he knows how to finish. And then also their rebounding prowess, the two of them on the offensive glass especially, is really good with their physicality and with their athletic ability.
How have you seen perhaps, like, obviously going off last season, it wasn't as good as it could have been. How have you seen the returners, their attitude change going into this new season, especially with some of them taking on perhaps slightly more leadership roles within the squad?
Yeah, we weren't pleased with our results last year, that's for sure. And I know Adam Miller, wants to go back to the NCAA tournament. It's things we talked about with how we're going to reconstruct the roster and give ourselves the best chance to do that. So I see a lot of motivated guys. It's not only our returning players. It's guys like Alston Mason, Bashir Jihad, B.J. Freeman. These guys have 1 year to get it done. They want to win. They want to go to the tournament. You have Jaden Quinence, has got an NBA future, and Joe Sonson on as well. They don't want to do anything to take any steps backward with that process as well. So you have people, a lot of motivated players, a lot of guys getting in the gym on their own. So I think the culture is very good that way for guys that are invested in trying to get better and not only doing it when I'm in front of them.
You've had a big turnover a couple years in a row. Is that just the state of college basketball where it's pretty much going to be like that every year?
I think a part of it is the state of college basketball, and there's nothing wrong with players going out and seeing what's best for them, and I'm not the type of guy who wants to hold someone back and force someone to stay, but at the same time, if you are able to put together an NIL collective like we've been able to this year, you're going to see an elevated roster in terms of talent, and hopefully that translates into results. And then if you keep working with the collective and you keep doing your job to try and raise money, then hopefully you could retain guys that you want to retain.
What has it meant to you to have your son on the roster once again for will essentially be all years of college? Just that kind of dynamic, both from a father-son perspective and also just as a player and coach.
Yeah, he just great feedback. We have great conversations, talk about the team quite a bit. He's not like a spy in the locker room. That's not what I do. I'm not going to put him in that position. But he's got great insights. He knows the game. We've watched 1 million games together, so it's like having another coach almost. But I'm just cherishing it because he's my youngest and he's going to be in the real world soon, and I'm just trying to enjoy every moment I can with him.
Coach, I know the Duke game is still a ways out, but have you thought about what that experience is going to be like for you, and have you put any thought into what that trip is going to mean?
It's surreal. I want to find ways to showcase the program, and this is, I think, before the season starts, an opportunity to go play a top 5 team, and with all the history they've had, certainly, and to test ourselves. And the game's going to be televised. There's a lot of teams are doing secret scrimmages. I want to know sooner. I want to get these guys in front of a crowd. I want them to feel that type of environment, and even for the younger guys, they're going to have a big impact on what we're doing. Joe Son, JQ, and Amir Ali, those guys will get a chance to play in that environment, and hopefully, that helps us in the early stages of the non-conference.
Have you seen a guy like Austin Nunez sort of grow? Last time we talked to you, you said he grew to maturity since the last time he was at ASU, but over the summer, have you sort of seen him grow as a player?
Well, I mean, he came in, SEC lifting program for him. I think he did the year at Ole Miss, got stronger, looks bigger. So that's a positive. He filled out some. I think more of it's just coming out of a shell. It's more like what we were talking about earlier with Adam, just being comfortable, being vocal. I think even Austin having a year with me, he's done more leadership stuff, communicating. He's more outgoing than he was as a younger guy, as a freshman. Thank you.